Hey all, Binks here. Super excited to bring you this interview with Ben Brode I had the pleasure of doing. We discuss things like Nebula's journey, High Evolutionary, Howard the Duck, and Iron Lad, and why he's so scared of the Living Tribunal. This was before our co-op, which will come in future videos, so make sure to keep your eye out for those. But this is really awesome. Ben's an amazing person, and I hope you enjoy this interview and an insight into what he was thinking for the season. As always, if you're enjoying this content, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for daily Marvel Snap content, and catch you live at twitch.tv/binks_plays. Enjoy. What is up, everyone? Welcome into today's super special co-op stream with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Benjamin Brode. Ben, I'm sure most people know who you are. But if people don't, you want to give them a little update on who you are, why you're here, and why you're such an awesome part of Marvel Snap?
Cheers! Thanks for inviting me. It's very exciting to be here. I've never actually done anything like this for Marvel Snap, so I'm really excited to hang out and play some games and talk strategy and yeah. So hey, I'm Ben, Binks' audience. Hello. I'm the Chief Development Officer at Second Dinner. Helped design this here video game. Excited to be on.
Dude, super excited to have you, man. You know, we did our battles a little bit ago, and it was really fun going toe to toe. But yeah, I mean, I think that this season in particular is just so exciting and so much fun. We were talking a little bit before we went live here. Just about like how fun this like upcoming season is. The season pass card that just dropped yesterday, I've already been having a blast with. I want to get every single card that's coming out right when it comes out, and that there hasn't really been a month that's really popped off like that for me. So was super excited just kind of have you jump on and talk about the season. Now there's 4 really cool cards coming out this month. Which one are you most excited for?
I'm surprised you didn't feel that way about Animals Assemble, because Stegron was for me was just like I couldn't wait to get in there and start building Stegron decks for me. But yeah, this season's gonna be exciting. I've already been using Nebula a bunch. She's super fun. I gotta tell you, I am terrified of the Living Tribunal. I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
you just buffed her too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's gonna do some stuff, I think. And I don't know. Like High Evolutionary is one of the craziest cards we've ever made. So
you said that you kind of brought it up as a joke. Do you want to you're gonna talk about that a little bit? Because I didn't like I thought that was so interesting that you like kind of like made this joke to the team about like, let's give the vanilla cards abilities. And do you want to talk on that a little bit? That's so cool, man.
Well, we often just have like brainstorms, and there was like a thread in Slack like, hey, we need some High Evolutionary ideas. Like we have like, you know, a bunch of people who are designing cards, and so like, you know, a lot of the designs are not mine, but for this particular card, I just kind of like let myself free associate for a little bit and just kind of wrote a bunch of stuff. I know the High Evolutionary has to do with evolution, right? And like you know, helping people reach their full potential by, I don't know, evolving them in weird ways. So I don't know, that for some reason I made the connection to. I also have it in my mind all of the people who reach out to me furious about Cyclops being a vanilla card, and I'm like, what can I do to like fix that without fixing that? You know what I mean? Like, how can I make Cyclops good without changing Cyclops in any way? And so like those two, you know, pieces of soup ended up in this pitch, but I literally was just joking. I often like that's often part of the brainstorming process is just like writing anything down, even if it's a ridiculous, impossible thing. It's just like how we inspire each other, right? Someone else's bad idea can turn into a good idea like really easily. So yeah, I wrote it as a complete joke. I was absolutely not serious. And then like a couple days later, I saw the team talking about like what the evolved cards could be, and I was like, yo, are you guys really doing this?
They're just dive in. Yeah, dude, a card that gives you 7 new cards. What an absolute treat. I think that any card like that opens up multiple archetypes as someone who just goes crazy about deck building like me, oh man, dude, my mind is rolling, dude. Do I just roll like some Abomination Hazmat deck? Do I just throw like Scorpion Hazmat Abomination in a deck? Do I find all these, different things? Do I try and do like a Kitty Pryde, Sunspot, like Misty Knight High Evolution deck? There's my mind's just been spinning. So dude, I think that I also think that card's really awesome. I think that the change that you recently made to Jubilee, that's going to work with this Howard the Duck Iron Lad package is super exciting. That's one that I think is really cool. Getting that information about your deck, being able to manipulate your deck a little bit, being able to pull the cards at the right time is super exciting. What do you think about kind of like that package?
Yeah, I mean, you could build decks without them together, and you could build them together, and they kind of amplify their effects. Iron Lad's one of those cards. Like, we're not afraid of making cards like this where we're like, well, that every card we make from now on, we got to think about how it's going to work with these things. You know what I mean? And Iron Lad's one of those cards that definitely can do some silly stuff by doubling things up in a pretty wild way. So yeah, he's going to be interesting. We'll see how things go. I'm excited to play with him.
Before we jump into the co-op, we were talking actually about this a little bit pre-stream, and just one more question just to kind of kick us off talking about the season. Yeah. Nebula. So Nebula, the way that she's released, even the way that she was shown in the development update video and like previous versions that people have found, have all been really different to come to where she is today. So you want to just tell us a little bit about Nebula's journey, kind of like where she came from and some of like how you got to this point?
To be clear, the current version of Nebula is by far the most interesting and best version of Nebula that we've tested. But once upon a time, there was an old version where we were trying to like riff on the Guardians of the Galaxy theme, right? Because she's like, either in the Guardians of the Galaxy or in previous movies was like, loosely related to the Guardians of the Galaxy. And so something that was like either on the nose or kind of a little bit, askew from the other Guardians effects was like the space we were trying to play in. And so the version that we tried first, she was also, I think, a 1/1. And her effect was, if your opponent plays a card in this turn, return it to your hand with double the power. And it was a pretty interesting. You turned it into like a little.
I'll be back. Sorry.
Okay. It was a pretty interesting effect because you wanted to guess where they were going to go over and over and over again, to double and then double and then double and then double. But if you on the last turn guess where they're going to go, then she goes back to your hand and you get nothing. And so it was kind of like a guess where she's going to go, and then like dodge it, when you need to dodge it. It was kind of a fun game. But what happened was, often your opponent wouldn't even see what happened. They'd be like, oh, watching the game, and then she would reveal, and she'd be gone. Like, what the hell was that? You can't even read the card, right? Like, it's just there's nothing to click on to see what she did. And it was just kind of like, because of the user interface of the game, like that effect can't really exist. You can't have an effect that's just like, here, I'm gonna flip this card over and then I'm just gonna get rid of it right away, right? It already happens sometimes when you go like, I don't know, Hood Beast in the same turn. Your opponent's like, what was that card?
Yeah. Texas is furiously scribbling notes.
But imagine they didn't. That was the first time ever seeing, Hood or something, right? It would just like, zip away. I guess we have the first time seeing effect for that moment. But yeah, it was not. It was just too confusing, too consistently to be a good user experience. So, but this version I think is really, really interesting, and unlike the other version, which is kind of like, oh, you play it or you don't. Like, this version actually makes other cards better, right? This card makes Star-Lord better, right? Because you have a much higher chance of catching their card by playing Star-Lord at Nebula's location. So she kind of that's I think like a really fun space to play in is, does this new card change the way you look at old cards?
Yeah, I think that's always good. Anytime you can highlight other old cards, just like we were talking about with High Evolutionary, right? Like being able to take these old cards, especially characters that people love, and kind of like funnel this in is really, really cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think the doubling and calling someone out and then not calling someone out at the end, that's obviously like a really fun game, just like you said, and it seems like something that you guys wanted to play with. But it's really cool that even before launch, y'all kind of recognized that this would cause a poor user experience and tried to like kind of be versatile with that. I think that just really shows like what a small, like lean, cool company like Second Dinner can do, you know? I don't know, I'm a bit of a fanboy.
A lot of these cards have been in development for some time, right?
Yeah.
This is just like High Evolutionary. I was playing games with High Evolutionary probably literal years ago at this point. So it's really exciting to see some of these cards finally make it into the game.
Make sure to subscribe. Watch that one too.